listening to the Two Marks exclusively on the Pod Station.
Welcome, listeners, to a new show brought to you by the Two Marks. This time we're embarking on a vicarious journey of discovery through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hold on to your hats as we follow one person's experiences, watching all 25 movies in chronological order. This time we're reviewing Iron Man. Welcome to the Marvel Marathon. Note to listeners, I'll be updating the number of films as Marvel releases the new ones. Let me introduce my friend and co-host, Mr. Mark Pollard.
Hi, mate.
Hello there.
I've noticed that in your intro you haven't changed the name of what we're calling it.
What are you calling it?
The Marvel Rewatch.
Oh God, here we go again.
Are we going to do this every episode?
No.
Why not? You'll be bored.
I will.
25.
I'm already bored and it's only 3.
Yeah, well, by the time we get to them, it'll be 28 movies.
For me, it's a joke that just keeps on giving.
For you.
For you, and that's it.
And you, and ba-ba-ba. Isn't that the theme tune to Jim Will Fix It?
Yeah.
Oh.
Moving on swiftly.
Anyway.
So, yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you, pal?
Very well, thank you. Yes, we're back again, episode 3.
We are, and I suppose we should introduce the star of this show.
Mr. Mark Pollard. The person who's gagged in, you mean?
Oh, don't be me.
Oh, sorry, let's introduce our passenger.
The variant that you picked up along the way and that has energised you both in this journey.
Like a person from Dover, we found you in the wheel arch of our vehicle.
It was a little bit cramped.
Let you out, we've given you some airtime, so crack on.
I'm a bit hungry though.
Have you got a bounty?
Taste of Paradise.
Yeah.
If they'd like to be a sponsor of the show, 2marks at thepodstation.co.uk.
Plug.
A lifetime supply of bounties would be gratefully received.
So, just for Mark, find something for me while you're out there.
Shall we explain what it is that we're actually doing? Because we still haven't introduced the star of the show, Ishtar. How are you doing, Ishtar?
Amazing. How are you guys doing?
Good. So perhaps I'm going to leave you to explain this time, because this is the 3rd film, so you should be like totally an expert at this by now. Why are you the star of this particular show?
Because I am a Marvel noob, as you rightly say every week, and
It's sinking in now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm
She
picking
knows
up
the
his
place.
dialect. Yeah, exactly. I've watched the Loki series and a couple of others, and as a result of that, have started to rewatch the MCU. And
You're not rewatching the MCU.
Well,
you're watching.
I'm watching it. You guys are rewatching it.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. But with a whole different perspective, because I haven't seen them all before and I'm proper buzzing about it.
Yeah, so this is for the benefit of people who haven't watched Marvel, if you've perhaps dipped your toe in it, particularly because I think Disney Plus has opened up the ability for people to access this from their home. So perhaps some people didn't fancy going to the cinema to watch these films because it wasn't, or they assumed it wasn't their bag, or they didn't particularly enjoy it. When you're sitting around on the couch and there's nothing on the telly, you flick through Disney Plus, you come across it, you have a watch of it, and lo and behold, it's actually quite good. Then you're like, well, I'd quite like to go back and watch it from the beginning. So what we're doing is, as Ishtar goes through watching each of the Marvel movies, and we're watching it in time chronological order.
Chronological, yeah.
It's quite important to mention that.
Yeah.
So far we've watched Captain America First Avenger,
Captain Marvel,
and so this one's going to be
Iron Man
1. So that's what we're going to be doing, and then we'll do a show for each of the films. Ishtar can gush or not, depending upon which film she's talking about.
Yeah.
And me and Latham get an opportunity to peek back into. Well, Mark can peek back into his notebook to discuss all of the things he made notes on many moons ago, whilst I can pretend to know something about it because Latham probably told me about it at the time, and I'll now pass that knowledge on to you, Ish.
And then I start telling everybody else. So now, by the way, this is now what's happening. You've imparted the knowledge to Pollard. Pollard's now imparted the knowledge to me, and I am imparting the knowledge to the rest of the world.
I can't wait for my royalty check to come. I will buy you a box of bounties when my royalty check comes in. It's like, thank you.
Could be soon. I'm starting to get some serious Marvel credibility, and we're only on like movie 3.
Yeah. What I would like to add to this actually is I think that Mark and I would probably benefit now because we are seeing the I suppose the benefit of our waiting. So Iron Man, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So we're seeing things that we've already kind of talked about in our last...
Well, we've recently done a review on Shang-Chi, which nicely can be found on all the major podcast platforms on the 2 Marks channel. Yeah. And if you don't know where to find it, go to thepodstation.co.uk, go to the 2 Marks page. And we're also on social media as well, so Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All the roads lead back to the podcast platforms where you can listen to the show. And we've just done Shang-Chi, which you referred us to drops, which are actually in this film alone, which we didn't realise. So yeah, it's still harping back to stuff, which is great. So, yeah. Should caveat that with, we aren't going to be doing any spoilers. I mean, Mark has developed a twitch since we first started this show, trying not to mention things that don't really exist anymore, or yet. So if you are watching this for the first time, we are going to do our best, and we pretty much should be able to not spoil anything going forward in the future, because Ish hasn't seen any of that. She's done... you've done Loki, the TV series. We're not even going to make reference to that because that's got spoilers in it, but beyond that, you don't really know what's going to happen going forward, and we don't want to spoil that, do we?
Yeah. No. And if I have seen any films, it's not been in any great detail. It's just been something that's been on in the background and I've never paid attention to. So
what I have tried to do to adapt it to make it a bit more user-friendly is add in facts as well as Easter eggs.
Okay, because my mind gets blown when you do Easter eggs, and I just...
Yeah, well, I forget the rule book we set. So the rules are that if it's in the comic books and it's not a spoiler, we can mention it. Yeah. So if we're adding depth to a character to help enjoyment, because quite often when I'd come out of these films, and Iron Man's a good example, this was the first Marvel film, well, I saw the Hulk on my own, but I didn't realise there was going to be a universe involved, and I didn't particularly care an awful lot about any potential university plans. Iron Man was the first one that gripped me, and during these sorts of films, Mark was the one who I'd go to, and he'd give me a lot more information to pad out what I'd just seen, which made me feel more invested in those characters. And then when we saw the next films, things happened, you go, oh my God, I understand that because of the information.
And that's what's happening now with me, with you two.
So that's what we're going to try and do. So fasten your seatbelts, because we're doing Iron Man 1, which is the third movie in the chronological time version. Mm-hmm. But just to make our minds slightly mashed, it's sort of the first Marvel movie that I saw. And of course we can get to the debate, and ironically we will be very soon getting into the debate of whether Hulk falls into this timeline or not. But this was kind of the first film I associated with Marvel.
Well, this, in fact, was the first Marvel movie when they decided to embark on this massive multi-film journey. So it is the first before... Well, it's the first as they got their act together and focused on what they were going to do moving forward. Because before then, which I'll explain later on, was a bit disjointed because they were going bankrupt. And so they basically went to the bank and went, we've got this idea. And they weren't a bit sure about I think they were going to cast Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
No.
Yeah, because they weren't sure, because 2008, Robert Downey Jr. was on the back of his drink, drugs, arrest thing. And in fact, he was advised by Jon Favreau to go to his audition in a suit to impress the people.
Wow.
And obviously, as we know, he's the most ideal person for it.
Absolutely.
So... there you go. But as a result of that, the studio weren't convinced. It was really unknown territory. And then we look 25 movies on and we go, why wouldn't it work?
Well, I was a subscriber to the Empire magazine at the time, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, guys. And by the way, check out their podcast because it is great, but obviously after you listen to ours first. But I remember they actually had a cover before Iron Man came out, and they did a big feature article of how they were going. The plan was that the comic book world was going to introduce a universe, and they were going to have characters jump in between the films in the same way as the comic books. I remember reading the article and going, this sounds great, but I just can't imagine that it's going to happen at all. So yeah, it was something that I actually got quite excited about before I'd seen the movie, and then just forgot about it, and then saw Iron Man and still didn't really think there was going to be a universe to grow out of this, because it was only one film. I just knew I enjoyed it. And I think it was after sort of Captain America and Thor had come out in release order that I was like, ooh, this is going to form a bigger picture. How very exciting.
And now we think, wow.
Iron Man 1. So, shall we get our initial thoughts from you, young lady, before we get stuck into the movie? Or shall we leave your thoughts until the end? What do we think, guys? How do we want to do it?
Well, I'll get them now and unpack it.
Okay.
Because I think probably people want to know what your thoughts are. They'll know what ours are.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, go on, Ish.
Buzzing. What a...
I thought that was the smell.
What a film. I mean, Captain America got a 7 out of 10. You know, it wasn't the best film in the world.
Don't be spoiling your gradings before
No,
we want to keep people to listen longer than the first 5 minutes.
You know, and then I was a little bit disappointed with Captain Marvel because, you know, the whole cliche woman superhero, you and I agreed on that, Latham, definitely. We did, yeah. And then I watched Iron Man and I just can't believe, like, how good that film is. It is so good. Amazing.
It's interesting that you come across as that because... having just said the preamble, which is it was the first of a multi-picture plan, and the huge gamble from the point of Marvel, you watching it obviously as a third in the series, thinking it now kind of supersedes the other two, means it's strong in that in chronological order, but also in when we saw it.
Absolutely. And you know, I have been reflecting on my very shallow comments in the last 2 episodes.
Oh, with
and
Bucky.
So well, just in general with my reviews, and so I have been very, very much surprised about the fact that I love Iron Man and there is no buffness in this film at all. Like, zero.
It wouldn't work with Iron Man though, you see, because he isn't specifically a superhero.
But there's nobody even as a sub-character that's like cute, so but I still absolutely love this film.
And I think that's another reason why it works on that level, is that it shows the legitimacy. Well, I actually looked into this.
What, buffness?
Yeah.
I'd love to see what your search history comes out as.
Oh, mate, yeah, defo.
You can't, I've just put the microwave oven
Buff
on.
Agent Carter.
Burnt all the hard drives, so thank you, FBI. Or NSA.
CIA.
All of the alphabet ones, the cost of being Iron Man, you could be Iron Man for 10 billion. There's an infographic of how much it costs to be Iron Man, including all the tech, and if you had 10 billion, you could be Iron Man. So essentially, Elon Musk is Iron Man.
Wow, amazing.
And 10 billion, considering what's he worth, Elon Musk, 180, 190 billion?
Something like that.
19 times that, innit? So.
Do you know, but it was just the pure intellect of Tony Stark in this that captured me. He was an arrogant prick at the beginning, let's be honest. But then, you know, after the whole ordeal, which we won't go into because it's going to spoil it, I just got to like the fact that he was intelligent and caring.
Well, what? Oh, go on.
But he is, but that's the character. You've just described the character. Yeah. He's no less arrogant when he sees the error of his ways. He's just more, his arrogance is more focused towards positive, intended activities as opposed to things that just make money to enable him to continue to be an arrogant sod.
Yeah, I mean, there's a podcast which I'm referring to as the Prediction Show from November 2020, where I think I actually broke down the fact that Iron Man is responsible indirectly and directly for every villain in the MCU.
Why?
Well, you listen to it and you'll find out, won't you?
Well, don't listen to it because there's spoilers in there.
Latham.
What? There's no predictions in it. The spoilers now because I was right. Thank you for that. But what happened in the comics is he left university at 15, went to MIT at age of 17, and what the film does very well is it provides exposition in a unique way, which is newsreels and newspapers and Time magazine things. So if you're looking at that very quickly, you can see his rise. And, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're going to be a little bit arrogant, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean...
have you not seen an Elon Musk interview?
Sticking with the comic book character, Iron Man, he's a flawed character in the comic books, quite significantly as well.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to explain? Because Ish probably won't be aware of this at all.
Well, apart from his estranged father relationship, his parents are killed, but I can't tell you because obviously spoilers. Although I can tell you.
Well, they're dead.
Yeah, his parents are dead by mysterious reasons. So he's kind of brought up young, having no parents, and his father is quite estranged anyway because he's building, obviously, Stark Industries, and he's busy coming up with flying cars for Agent Coulson, things like that. Mm-hmm. So there's that relationship, and obviously he's created all this stuff because he's intelligent enough. So he's kind of become a loner.
But he's also alcoholic, isn't he, in the comics?
He is, yeah. Well, he's your typical...
And domestic abuse as well. I mean, they touch on that as well. They very much show him as being the not perfect
he's
superhero.
far from it. Yeah, I mean, he is your philanthropic... No, let's forget that. I can't even say it. Womanizing, because philanthropic means you just give money to charity, so whatever that is.
No, he just gives SEDs around like their business cards.
Have some clap. He's a womanizer. He drinks a lot. He likes to live on the edge. He's always, because he's always looking for bleeding edge technology, he's always pushing the envelope. And because he's got government contracts and things like that, you know, it's all about the money. He's driving fast cars. In fact, his character was drawn and based upon Howard Hughes, which, if you know anything about Howard Hughes, a very sad story, because he was used by the CIA and was the face of things, and they just
DiCaprio did a film, didn't they, about it?
He did, The Aviator.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in fact, he was very pioneering. He was into films, and he pushed the envelope. He ended up doing one film, I can't remember what it's called, where umpteen stunt people were killed. It was the biggest aerial dogfight scene for a World War I film of its time. And they basically tailored Tony Stark on Howard Hughes.
I mean, it was nice, the fact that you got to see how Howard Stark's story ended and how Tony Stark's story began with this film, because obviously that was left open from Captain America. So that was nice that transition was there so quickly for me.
Oh, I didn't know anything about Howard Stark because this was the first film that came out, and
this
therefore
shows
I haven't had what you've had.
Yeah, which is super beneficial for me, actually, chronologically.
Because we hadn't seen...
I didn't know anything about
Captain
Howard
America.
Stark. They make reference to him in the films, but I haven't seen him in anything at this point, so I don't really... There's nothing to gravitate towards, whereas having seen Captain America where he's in the film and there being a couple of references throughout, you do have slightly more understanding of Tony Stark before you've even met him, whereas to me he was just the guy in the opening scene with ACDC rocking the house, drinking, what was it, a whiskey on ice in the back of a Hummer in the middle of some desert.
Was a great scene. That was absolutely hilarious.
Well, he's doing all the Instagram stuff. He's the kind of because obviously 2008, so it's kind of before TikTok and all that. And he's essentially your first influencer.
Yeah.
And he's all about the image.
What a showman, though.
Yeah.
The way he times the demonstration with the missiles.
I know. And then he's got the cocktails ready as a free thing afterwards. I mean,
it's called the Peacemaker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's hilarious.
Absolutely fantastic as a character.
Yeah.
So, I suppose maybe we'll delve into a bit of the storyline. You're just checking it's still on.
I've just become self-aware that it's filming.
So we'll perhaps start digging into film, and we'll pick up characters along the way. What we would like, or what I would like very much, is for you, Ish, to guide us through and stop us at things as you go along, so that you can give us your thoughts and insight. We mentioned the opening scene of the ACDC. It kind of does one of those time things, doesn't it, in this, where you start with the explosion, then they go back a couple of days to explain how it got to that point, which was a relatively new concept at that time. It wasn't quite as normal and routine as perhaps you probably find now. You've had the explosion, but then we go back to him a few days earlier. What were your initial thoughts of old Tony?
That he was an arrogant prick. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to like this character or not. Because he was, exactly how you described him, Latham, in the comics, that he was, just a demon.
A knobhead.
Yeah, basically, just, living off his dad's money, and you didn't really get a good indication that he was as intelligent as he was, and he was just, he didn't turn up for that award ceremony, so he didn't really give a shit. He was just flying off the coattails of his dad a little bit, so... But
even then, that's the superficial argument, not to pick up on your general style. But there's more to him than that, because he's not. It could easily be said he didn't turn up to an award ceremony because he didn't particularly value being given public awards for things perhaps he didn't feel he was worthy of. Going to the woman that he bedded, the lady, she could have said no at any point. I mean, she
to be fair, it's not a Me Too campaign.
She was a serious journalist who came up going, "Oh, Tony, I've got some serious questions for you." And it was like, Sack? Okay, but only if you let me ask you serious questions afterwards. I mean, she didn't have to go to bed with him, did she?
There's a lack of journalistic integrity right there. And you have to question your source material. When he says sack, do you mean his ball bags? I don't know what you mean. But when he's putting to the bed and you go, I think I'll get a story from this.
But it's easy to make the assumption that he is this pretentious, shallow arse based on what you're being said. But actually, if you stop and think of it for a second, he's a rich billionaire. So is that why people want to jump in bed with him? Is that why people want to be mates with him?
Wouldn't you want to jump in bed with a billionaire?
I don't know. It depends who it is. If it's Elon Musk, I'm like, probably not. It's not my bag.
I will add to that. That's an interesting social science experiment. Is that if you watch how people are, there's YouTube clips where somebody's sitting on a Ferrari, for example, and the previous day he's in a banger, and it's not his car, but obviously there's ladies walking past, and he's like, "Oh, do you want a lift?" And then they ignore him. Same guy next day sitting next to a Ferrari or in it, and he says the same thing, and he go, "Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah." So you've got to allow that he may be a womanizer, but they have the ability to say no and have integrity, and obviously go, well, actually, the only reason I'm sleeping with you is because you're a multi-billionaire. Yeah. And I might get some kudos.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is, there was actually a documentary. We'll get way too serious here, but there was a documentary about billionaires, and when they were interviewing one of them, they were saying, look, my social circle is tiny because there are only so many people I can trust because of my wealth. It's dead easy. If I make friends with the wrong person, get thrown in the back of a van and there's a ransom note all of a sudden for a large amount of money because I am a valuable asset. There are also limited people who can understand my situation, and they weren't doing it for a sympathy vote, but they were saying there's only certain people who can do the things I can do or afford the things or understand how little value money has when you've got so much that you can buy anything you want. So it's not really money that you're looking to develop in your life. And so I suppose with Tony Stark, that's a great example of, he has his mate
Happy Hogan.
Rhodey.
Oh, Rhodey.
So he's got his mate Rhodey, but beyond, and he's got Pepper, and he thinks he's got Obi.
He's got Happy Hogan's his kind of driver, isn't he? And confidant.
Yeah. So he's got those four characters, but actually, if you watch this film throughout, particularly in this beginning bit where we're assuming is a prize nugget, he very much sticks within the safety zones of those people he holds quite close, because he's probably guarded against being near other people. He doesn't want to be around other people because he'll get that artificial, oh hey Tony, how are you doing? I'm good. I've got this new business idea if you want to throw us a couple of quid.
Absolutely, that's literally a Dragon's Den pitch every time he goes out.
And could you be arsed if you're going to KFC?
I hate people now, and I've got no money, so that's a good thing. Is that if you've got no money, then that's a good thing, isn't it? Because if you've got people around you and you've got nothing, then if you get something and they're still there, then it's good, isn't it?
Oh shit, well thanks for just proving that I was still as superficial as I have been the last 2
we
episodes.
found you in a carton, so it's all good.
Holy shit, I was trying to better myself, but I'll attempt it for episode 4.
What Mr. Pollard's point is really valuable, because what you see at the beginning is he's guarded, comes across as being arrogant, but actually he's not. All he's doing is he's created a protection around him, because Rhodey is his mate, but Rhodey works for the government and the military where he's got contracts. You know, Happy Hogan essentially is on the payroll to protect him, drive him, take him to functions. Pepper Potts essentially is his secretary PA, although we know as things develop, it's a bit more than that.
Well, it has started to look like it's developing.
But also, I'm saying comics as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's only a mistake if you don't know the comics, but, you know, you can you're intelligent, you can pick up on the vibes of where it's...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then, obviously... the Obadiah, which is interesting because in the comics it's different to the film. His is kind of pseudo father figure that you kind of glean has picked him up when his father's been absent or dead.
You get that from the movie as well, because it said it in the.
And what happens as the movie continues is they sort of fall away.
Well, I don't think Tony changes particularly as a character in this film. The key difference is he finds he has a focus for his energies. So he's still got the workshop. That workshop where he was building all his suits further down in the film existed before he got there. So he clearly loved tinkering around with things. He loved building things. He loved learning things. So that hasn't changed. And the business that he's inherited, what they did as a business just simply supplied him with the cash to be able to do what he was doing. He didn't really have any interest in the weaponizations type of things, and because of what happened to him, he suddenly found himself a focus in his life, which gave him the ability to throw all of his thoughts and his skills and his knowledge into that one thing. But as a personality, I don't think he's changed much in this film from the start to the end. He's just got a focus, which is a slight difference, and because they're now not selling weapons, which is arguably the only bad thing he really does. I know he's a bit of an arse with some of the way he sort of does things, but the main issue was obviously selling arms to lunatics.
Well, the way I understood that film with the dynamic shift and the shift for him, his paradigm, was because he was kidnapped and went through that experience, which he'd been sheltered from, and was loving the attention because he was doing all that on the Instas or whatever it was at the time, Facebook.
Is that what they do on the Instas?
Apparently. I'd be rubbish on the Instas.
Oh, you young kids.
Yo, man. He has this wake-up and this moment of truth, which realises he's weaponising. He's given all of the enemy and essentially arming the enemy with this dark industry tech. So he makes the decision, which Obadiah goes, hang on a minute, Tony, but maybe you should just keep, you're not really on the board, just shut the fuck up.
You're going to do that cigarette thing, but he smokes a cigar, you need the bigger gap in you.
It looks like I'm sucking off a ghost. Obadiah is like, oh, hang on, Tony, maybe you should leave it to running the business to me, because he's inherited the business, knows nothing about it, playboy, driving around in Ferraris, whatever, and then suddenly has a conscious moment of clarity where he goes, we're not going to do weapons anymore, and because of what he experienced, that then changes his trajectory to making the Iron Man suits.
Latham, you've missed a whole chunk of the film.
Tell
that's
me what
actually
I've missed.
really important when he's in the cave and who actually abducts him.
I don't think I've missed it because I think I've got it in here.
No, but you've already fast forwarded to the fact that he knows that he found out that like the weapons were being supplied to the baddies.
To be honest, that brings me to one of my favourite parts of this film, which is the A-Team sequence. For me, they should have just put the where the ratcheting stuff.
Love
and
that.
Making suits out of rubber bands. And have you got some chewing gum? Great, that will use that to weld together the two pieces.
This is the combination of the A-Team and MacGyver.
It was.
It's like you're in a cave, which is usually made out of cave stuff, and suddenly wheel out a 4x4 armoured vehicle. It's like, what? Where did you get that?
Where did you get the tools? Never mind the materials to build the frigging thing.
But not only does he do that, he actually makes an arc reactor.
I know.
For his heart, because he's got the shrapnel in it from the explosion.
Yeah.
Just out of bits of copper. You know, flippin' heck. I struggled to...
But I fell in love with his character there, because I was like, if he's genius enough to be able to do that in a cave somewhere in the world with like the remnants of missiles or whatever, like I'm very drawn to intellectual people anyway, so yeah, that captured
what are you
my
doing in this
attention.
room with all their freaking Nora?
Do you have to de-skill?
I think she got lost.
Yeah, because she's in the boot of the van.
She likes to dumb down every now and again.
Lack of oxygen over the past 24 hours.
I like to be around the plebs.
What did we think of the first suit? Mark 1.
Hey, I like it.
Well, it's very reminiscent of the comics. That's like literally a callback to the comics.
Yeah.
When they weren't drawing things properly. And then some people couldn't.
Well, in fairness, technology wasn't quite as... That probably looked like a really advanced suit in the days...
60s.
Going back in the 60s.
Yeah, when people couldn't draw feet properly.
No, I just thought it was great, and the fact that when he crash landed, he was like, oh, not so bad, or whatever he said, I thought that was hilarious.
There is a callback to one thing we can't mention, although you've listened to our podcasts and watched the show, that we can't mention. But in the first episode of that show, we can't mention. There's a callback to that.
So yeah, we got the Mark 1 suit. Doesn't last very long.
To means to an end, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like your first car.
It's a wunner.
Yeah.
As we used to say in the Conquer game.
Oh yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Aww.
Got a wunner.
Yeah.
Back.
And then people used to line, they go, oh, I've got a 25er. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Did you used to soak yours in...
Hell yes, in vinegar. Hell
Yeah,
yes.
And cook them.
Well, I put mine in... what's the one that you cover your fence? Is it creosote?
Did you use creosote? Yeah.
Oh.
Although I know people did like put a coat of super glue around it.
Did you make a ton of money from that?
I didn't do it for money.
Oh, I did.
I did it when I wasn't getting bullied.
Aww.
To hide weapons. I'd made it basically just like...
Ninja Latham.
Yeah, and like...
Conquer boy.
Yeah, coconut nunchucks.
you
Come
want
on.
to do a visual for that? It's brilliant.
There's a visual right on that camera right there. Where
Yeah.
looks like I'm just like
That's going
wanking
on
off multiple
socials.
people. I call it the windmill.
I was quite sad that the guy who's helping him build this gets deaded.
Yeah.
He was quite a nice guy. It's quite comical, is this film? It's weird because Marvel are really kicking the tires, finding the nice balance between humour and weight to their characters and storylines.
You say that for every film at the minute, though, that they're still kicking the tyres, because you've said that twice.
Well, yeah, because this was the first film. Captain America was the first Captain America film, so they very much were kicking the tires with that character. This is the first bloody film they. I'm ignoring Hulk for the benefit of this conversation because, as far as I'm concerned, it had sod all to do with the MCU until it suited the experiment, and then someone wheeled it in. But this was the first time when they were, and it was quite humorous, because you've got sort of the second in command baddie of the terrorist organisation who sort of trying to be quite mean, but when they're watching them on the CCTV, he's sort of saying things that are quite humorous by their very nature. He comes across as a bit of a clown. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Whereas then they introduce, when they start talking about Tony, or they start following Tony in a bit more detail, they do show him as a bit less of a... Anyway, I'm just saying. There's at least one of us who isn't superficial on this show. So he escapes.
Yeah, he does.
In his suit. And then lands back in America and immediately wants to go and give a press conference.
And have a burger.
Well, we had the conversation about this, didn't we? How this film always makes me want to have a burger.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question just on that? If you had a burger, which place would you go for your burger?
Mackey's every day. Are we not friends anymore?
Well, it depends on what you see. Mackey's always makes me feel regretful and dirty inside.
But that's what a burger should make you feel like.
I know, but I get that. I love a Big Mac. If McDonald's would like to be a sponsor of the show, 2marks at thepodstation.co.uk. But sometimes I want something a bit... something I can't get my lips around.
Oh, Lord.
Talk about the burger now. Tell me what you
What about you?
You've not told me where.
Yeah, you didn't even answer the question.
Yeah, what you've done is just share.
Well, this is the thing. I yo-yo between maybe a Mackey's when I'm feeling a bit rough or a bit fed up, or somewhere a bit more expensive, which might be a posher restaurant, like a gourmet burgery type place, which gives you, with extra nice barbecue sauce and extra nice pickles or cheese and bacon on the top, and maybe one of them onion rings going in there, and it actually stops being a burger and just becomes like a 4-course meal, just stacked vertically. So I fluctuate between those two, really.
And you lay them?
It's Five Guys all the time.
Yeah, they have got
peanut
good
butter, all the way burger with peanut butter.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Don't err me. If you want to be a sponsor, Five Guys, fuck these two off. I'll wear your shirts.
I suppose it all depends on who's paying, really. I've got the expensive places, someone else is paying.
With Five Guys, you've got a combination of McDonald's.
I thought you were being rude when you're talking about Five Guys. I've never heard of Five Guys. I thought you were being like, I love Five Guys.
They are amazing. Their burgers are mint.
I also like eating burgers when I've got Five Guys. Because it does take it out of you.
Holy shit.
It's a bit too much meat. You get the meat sweats.
It does leave you a bit sweaty and moist at the end. I do have to get the Kleenex out. Five Guys is a combination of quality meat, better than Burger King.
How can you even continue this conversation right now?
Because Five Guys. And go there twice, 10 guys.
Oh.
It's like an orgy of meat, isn't it? So there you go. We want to be a sponsor, not Five Guys, but the company Five Guys. Interestingly, just a side thing, the guy who set it up was told by his teacher he would never amount to anything and would be serving burgers. So he took that. He's now a multi-millionaire.
Serving burgers.
Yeah,
good lad.
Watching other people. It's just a really nice place to go, and I would challenge both of you to go to there and have one of their shakes with bacon.
I feel we're digressing.
I know.
So, getting back to this film.
He'll be going, he'll be like, to Five Guys.
I don't know where there is one. Anyway.
It's Cheshire Oaks Coliseum.
This is where he decided. Well, this is where he officially announced that they're not making weapons anymore, which obviously puts the bee in old
Obadiah shits himself.
Yeah, he does. It was like, oh my god!
The share price plummets.
Literally,
doesn't it?
We meet a few more characters in a bit more depth at this point, don't we? Because we meet Happy.
Yeah.
Do we like Happy?
Oh yeah.
Are we happy about Happy?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there wasn't really a lot of him. Really, he was a very sub character.
I think what we might be doing.
Yeah, we might be jumping ahead.
Yeah,
we might be thinking what we know now of him and going, oh, he's amazing.
Because what did you think of Pepper? Because up to this point, we have seen a shit can the journalist who.
Which was hilarious that sometimes she has to take out the trash. I loved that line, and I loved Pepper from the minute that she said that. Yeah, I mean, top class. Yeah, I love her. She obviously genuinely has care for him. You can tell, because anybody that deals with that kind of bullshit genuinely, loves what she does and cares about the person. So, yeah, I think she was a great character. Intellectual, caring. I mean, what else could you want?
I mean, Obadiah comes round just to express his concerns about Tony's position by coming round to his house at night with something that made me want pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, my cholesterol goes through the roof every time I watch Iron Man 1. Like burgers, pizzas.
Yeah. Donuts.
Yeah. Yeah, no. She was great. It was a good introduction to him as well.
But Obadiah's a great character. It's not a spoiler, because if we're talking about this film, we know at the end he's the bad guy. But is he a bad guy in the comics?
Yeah, he is. He's not.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's not. They've changed it, like I said, and most of the other things. They've taken the core comic book stories and they've adapted and updated it to suit their MCU. So he's not linked to... In the comics, he's trying to take over Tony Stark's company.
So he's not part of the business. He's actually an external threat.
Yeah. And I liked him, the actor that played him. I think he
Jeff
was...
Bridges.
Fabulous.
Yeah, he does a great job in this, doesn't he?
Fabulous job.
Did you know most of this movie was improvised?
No.
What, his character?
No, the whole film.
No.
His character, when he turned up to set, often Jon Favreau, who directed it, I think, and Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., would be often doing improvised rehearsals.
Right.
And he's gone on record as saying that he found it a bit difficult because he would read his lines, know his lines, and be prepared, and they would just be riffing off each other. So there you go.
No way.
That's cool.
So it kind of freaked him out a little bit, because obviously being a professional. Also, there's a rumour that actually, and I've seen an interview with Robert Downey Jr. on Iron Man 1, that he wears an earpiece with his lines being fed to him.
No way.
Who's that?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, right.
Because his exact words were, people want to buy into the performance, and it's easier to do the performance with that happening and not wearing a lot of costume. So over the years, his suit has become more CGI to allow him to do the performance, which I find a little bit naughty, really, especially when you get paid 50 million for 15 minutes in the Spider-Man film. It's like, oh, I'll do it for 40.
Hands up, he wants his toy shop downstairs, his little hideaway den.
Yeah, the car's got me.
Oh, well, I did cry a little bit inside when he had the heat thing going over there. I was like, oh,
the paintwork!
Yeah.
The paintwork!
His OCD. He's like, no, move the cars!
Well, Tony Stark did actually say that as well. No, not the cars. But yeah, but
to be fair, though, multi-billionaire, you just go, we'll buy another 10.
I know. But yeah, it was an amazing
And he's got a
workshop.
robot he can talk to. Oh, he's got two robots he can talk to. He's got his voice, he's got his internal Siri machine.
Jarvis.
Yes.
Yeah, Jarvis.
One he bullies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jarvis he doesn't really bully. Jarvis is like his co-worker. It's the hand thing that is the one that he's quite mean to.
He is a bit naughty.
Can we say that?
No,
we're not going to say that. We're going to say just pay attention to Jarvis and who he becomes. He's an important character.
Well, of course he's an important character because he's Tony Stark's computer, but you can't allude to anything beyond that.
I'm not alluding to anything else beyond
he's important before this.
No,
but
he's not.
He is. You've not seen you've not seen Agent Carter, have you?
No.
Well, there's your problem. Because Agent
Carter...
Carter...
no, because chronologically Agent Carter came out after Iron Man, so we can't mention it.
You and your fucking rules.
But you'll have to watch Agent Carter to see what he means.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So there.
Fine.
So yeah, there you go.
And then we go to... he doesn't get invited to the big party, does he? So he just party bombs. Now, I made a witty retort at this point because I
who?
referred to the Klingon at 6 o'clock, which was the journalist coming over the shoulder. She's like, "What? She's back.
Yeah.
Take your hint."
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who you are now.
Yeah.
Security. Happy Hogan, stage left.
But this is when Pep
Yeah.
and Toe
Get it.
find a moment.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was a cute moment. She genuinely cares. He doesn't realise what he's got.
I think he
No,
does.
I think, yeah.
Until he goes through that process and he starts to see her in a different light.
You see, I disagree. I think he already knows who he's got. I just think he has an inability to express it because of his upbringing.
It's
Because
a
he's
defense
had to be,
mechanism.
yeah, because he's had to be so shielded from people because of who he is and what he's got. He's very defensive and therefore has learned not to divulge anything of himself. And because he hasn't had his parents to go, "Do you want to live your life like that?" Then I think he's unable to tell Pepper and show Pepper, but he does in his own little way, and she's smart enough to recognise that, which is why she tolerates his arsiddery.
Yeah. He has attachment issues.
By the way, I'm copywriting that word.
Arshittery.
Arsiddery.
Put it in a sentence. Spell it.
I saw you performing some right arsiddery.
That works, by the way.
It does. He can have it for that reason. He has attachment issues. She knows he has a barrier and defences, so she's kind of behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. So she knows what he's like, and he knows that she knows. And obviously he keeps people at arm's length because everything dies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No point in starting something that's going to end. So I roll.
Can we mention Coulson now?
We can mention whatever you want. You're in charge of this show. I'm only talking because there's a quiet point and
You're saying nothing.
awkward silences make me feel awkward. But if you want to talk about old Coulson, I'm all for Coulson.
Team Coulson. Oh my gosh. I love him. Move Bucky over.
Oh.
Shallow.
It's not
Well,
shallow.
hang on a minute. Moving him over just means there's two now in there because it's not like get Bucky out, which would imply replacing. What we've done is we've just added to this little shenanigan.
And it is shallow because you've only gone 2 movies ahead and you've just jibbed him off. So it is a little bit shallow. You chose him for shallow reasons.
Although it says-
You've jibbed him for other shallow reasons.
It says a lot about that she's now gone for the more balding Coulson as opposed to the one with plumes of hair from Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen both types, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you still jibbed off. You still jibbed off Bucky.
No, I liked his character. I mean, we got an introduction to him in Captain Marvel, but we saw him a little bit more in this one. And there's something about Coulson that I love, honestly.
What?
Because
Because he's not in this film massively.
No, he's not. But they're alluding to his kindness and his good nature, and he's obviously trying to help him because he constantly tries to approach Pepper or to approach Tony Stark and be like, we need to have that conversation. He's there when Obadiah goes, cray, and thank God he was, because I was like, oh my God, thank God he's there, because Pepper could have been in deep shit. Well, she ended up being in deep shit for a period of time, but...
Well, it's because she was standing right next to the sewer tank, but that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, she's having a burst. Need to get a good
It's all that
drainage
pizza
company.
and burgers
it's
that they've been
full.
eating.
Yeah, but I think I liked his character a lot in this, and I'm excited to see how that develops now moving forward.
Coulson and Happy Hogan are both the humorous characters that break up that bit, isn't it?
Yeah, because this is the first one where he gives the full title of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, which I have actually put in my notes.
Go on then.
Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division, because we failed to note that last time.
Now-
So I noted it down this
Well,
time.
we found this funny the first time we watched it because obviously they're going, oh, you need to get an acronym. You need an acronym for this. And you go like, ha ha ha. But we've watched 2 films now where S.H.I.E.L.D. exists
Yeah.
and has been mentioned. So it's not, I didn't find that quite as funny because they're all going, oh, Witty Bants, that's a boring long name. And they're going, yeah, we do need to sort it out, don't we? Actually, it's already been sorted out. I've just watched 2 films where it got sorted out. So just turn around and go, listen, dickhead, here's what it's really called.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't...
But at the time, it was, you're absolutely, at the time, I was like, yeah, that's dead funny.
Yeah, because at the time there was nothing else, was there? So.
No. But he's very patient with them.
Yeah, he is. That's what I love about him. His patience and his niceness.
Okay.
And it's just raw sex appeal.
There is something about it. I don't know what it is.
He wears nice suits.
Yeah, receding hairline. I don't
Bald,
know.
which means he's full of testosterone.
Maybe. That was a good sound effect, that. Yeah, got me going there.
Full of testosterone.
It's full of shit.
He's test trialing his machine.
Do you want to rephrase that?
Yeah, following on from the Coulson conversation, I should rephrase that, really.
Yeah.
Tony's got himself a new machine
arc
that he's
reactor.
really excited about, and he's trialing it. Well, there was a couple of things, wasn't there? First, he needed to swap out the heart thingy that he had. That was a bit of a grim moment when.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god!
Because what did you say?
I was like, I could feel it coming out of my chest.
Yeah, but that's not what you said.
The operation scene.
What did you say about getting goo on your hands?
No, I don't even remember, but it was.
She went,
Don't even remember. Oh, I love it. Oh, you don't remember? I'll pay you cash.
But it is when he's dipping right in and coming out with that. Oh my god!
It is horrible.
I did love the doctor reference though. The
Yeah,
operations
yeah.
when he touched it. Goes,
No, he's messing around as well.
well, I don't think he was though, was he?
I thought he was joking around.
No.
Wasn't he?
No, because
No.
she couldn't touch the end of it to the sides.
Yeah, but I thought he was playing when he went,
No.
oh, no, was it not that?
No, he generally wasn't. Yeah, that was legit.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of scenes to do with the whole put your hand in your body part that made I get a pain in my neck when I see anything gruesome on TV, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I saw the hand going in and then I was like, oh my god, my neck hurts.
That's a weird response. A pain in your neck.
I get a pain in my neck. So I was holding my neck quite a lot during this.
Maybe that's why you
film.
got a pain in your neck. Stop holding your neck.
Note to self, thank you.
Welcome to Online MD.
But he's trialing it, and what we do establish is when he decides to, when they see that there's weapons still in the hands of the wrong people, and he goes to right his wrong, and this is when Rhodey finds out that he's
Iron Man.
He's Iron Man.
Yeah.
What we do find out is that he got his 4G bob on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no losing signal in that desert, was there?
No, that's like the best satellite phone ever.
You know, when you're hanging out the way, when I'm in my house, if I'm in certain corners of the house, it feels like I've just disappeared into a fourth realm.
But you do live in Hobbiton.
Hello? Can you hear
does,
me?
actually.
I can't hear you. Hello?
It's like being in the Shires.
It really is.
We were talking about hairy feet the other day. It's him. My mate is a hobbit. Yeah.
But that whole scene actually with the planes and stuff was pretty cool, because he was really, and the fact that you got to see a little bit more about the weaponry and associated with the suit.
Well, one of the best scenes is where you've got these massive kind of armed F-19 fighters or whatever, and he's obviously in Afghanistan, and he just has his little piffling little rocket thing done, and he doesn't even look, he just does that.
It was the tank. It's the tank he blew up, wasn't it?
And he just goes, boo, like one of those really rubbish firework things you get.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even look, he just turns away, just that, and then it just fizzles, and then nothing happens for a while, and he's just walking, and then it's that classic sort of movie type thing where there's an explosion behind you, and then it blows up.
Well, this shows how he's adapting the technology he's already got, because you find yourself where with that hostage situation, they've got like 6 people all being held at hostage, and oh no, what do we do without getting the hostages killed? And he just shoots them all at the same time.
Yeah, that was a bit that was referring to. It was good.
He's not bothered about killing people though, is he?
No, but he's killing the baddies, so that's all right.
Yeah, but could you do it in a slightly less
Gruesome.
destructive way?
Why would you want to?
Could the bullets not be darts that just put you to sleep instead? Because Captain America wouldn't be quite as lethal with how he does it. Although actually, I suppose he sort of did. But you know what I mean.
I think it depends on your lifetime experiences. I think if he was fighting in World War II, Captain America would be kill, kill, kill. Because of 70 years worth of being in ice, he may have changed his way and approach. Iron Man, again, may be on a story arc where he would kill people, but maybe depends on the situation, isn't it? I mean, I think it's hard to say what you would do in a situation unless you experience it. Mm-hmm. And that's because, like, if you had your family kidnapped, what would you do to get them back?
Kill everybody that had him.
So there you go. So
No brainer.
yeah, but you don't know, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit like a RoboCop thing there when he's obviously got the hostages, and if you've seen RoboCop, he just shoots him in the balls. It's not that bad, is it? But I suppose he's doing he's doing what he can for peace, isn't he? or to resolve the problem, and then he just disappears out of nowhere. Travelling at Mach 3, whatever he's doing.
But it was a training exercise, you have to remember that.
Oh, that reference was very funny. That shit always happens in real life, and you know it, don't you?
You do indeed, but Rhodey's a very interesting character in this film because he's a bit of a lackey for Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He usually ends up shoveling shit. But this is the only time we actually see this version of Rhodey, because they ditch this character. They don't ditch the character, sorry, they ditch the actor who plays this character.
Terrence Howard ditched himself because he wanted a pay rise, and Marv went, no.
He played this character really well, so it's a shame that he scruffed it up for himself.
One and done, baby. One and done.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the chap who plays him in the sequels,
I think he's better.
I do. And
Who is that, by the way?
We have to wait and see, won't you?
I'll tell you. Spoilers. But this guy just did a classic Ed Norton.
Oh, good old Edward.
Yeah, did a bell end. So, did a bell end Norton. But yeah, wanted more money on the first movie that you're kind of just a co-star, if that. Go, I think I need more money. No, you don't, mate. Goodbye.
Idiots.
So he's doing a dance, the redone dance.
I mean,
Hey!
he'd been in other films as well, though, hadn't he?
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, before
Yeah, he's
this.
been in films, but he's
So
not.
he probably got a big head.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Well, there's the outcome of arrogance in real life. A studio will just go bye.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame insofar as Rhodey's quite an important character in the in the Tony Stark world.
Yeah.
These are all characters that sort of ground Tony and are in his inner circle, so you see the real Tony Stark when he's in and around these people. And so I feel sorry that this character, this guy did change, because I suppose it sort of takes a little something away from him in this film for me, because I know he's not going to be around in the future films, albeit Rhodey as a character is.
Yeah.
Because I don't see him as Rhodey in this, because he's now not the Rhodey I recognise as being Rhodey, which is a shame.
I think I see what you're saying. I actually prefer the fact that they've recast him with who they've got, and I think he plays it a bit better. The other one came across as a bit too serious, whereas I think the other one, who was being in Ocean's 11, has that kind of seriousness, but also to ground Tony and also be funny at the same time. I think Terrence Howard was just a knob.
Well, how can you be serious when your mate's got a pull on his aircraft?
Oh.
And loads of booze.
Pollard wants an aeroplane with a pole in it.
And staff who work on there who are happy just to...
Half nakedly dance, yeah.
Is that a thing? Nakedly dance?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Google it.
He has.
FaceTime me later, I'll show you.
Keep sliding off. Too much Vaseline. Well, I mean, I'd probably be happy without the pole. Do you pay extra for the pole?
No, I was merely pointing out that looked like it was going to be a fun plane to be on.
Well,
he was sitting there with a face like a smacked ass, wasn't he?
Yeah.
How does that work if you're doing a massive decompression descent?
It's
You're
better
just hanging onto the pole like this.
Well, it's better than being on those cattle cabin aircrafts where
Ryanair.
your knees around your ears and you've got a kid kicking back of your seat.
Obviously, if
and you
it's
have
a
to-
choice between the two,
and you
you'd
have to
go
pay
for
to go to the toilet.
pole dancing plane.
Well, actually, if you're on Ryanair, they've taken all the toilets out, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have they?
They did, yeah, to get more seats in.
Oh, shit.
Because then anywhere that's
Well,
like
no,
half
you're not
an hour.
allowed to do one on Ryanair. That's the
No,
point.
you have to do it in your pants. They give out free
mate.
continent bags. Yeah, poo bags.
Stick in a bag.
Yeah,
Oh, stop it.
yeah, poo bags. Which
That's
is,
what they said when they were doing it next to me in the chair.
yeah. And then they just look at you.
Ew.
Just like total eye
Just
contact.
lowered the tone of the show.
Welcome to Ryanair, who isn't a sponsor, and maybe not we ever a sponsor.
Yeah.
What did we think about the big final act here?
The fight scene.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Because he obviously goes to the desert, finds the suit, and then tries to copy the suit, and in his own words, doesn't have the same moral restrictions in what he adds to the suit. He turned it into a Swiss Army knife of a suit, really, didn't he? It was like, do you want one of these? Yes. Do you want one of these? Yeah. Do you want one of these? Yeah. You do know it's going to get awful big and awful heavy. I'm not bothered. Just Yeah, one of them as
It
well.
is massive.
But
By the time he's kitted it out, and
But can we rewind? Because is this before or after we find out that Obi's a big bad?
well, I think at that point you know.
Well, when did we find yeah, doesn't he go to his house and tell him that?
Basically, he drugs him.
Pepper. He sends Pepper to go to the office. To
No,
download
it's
the
before
files.
then, doesn't it? He drugs Tony first.
He drugs Tony, and Tony slides down a settee, and then he basically does what all villains do and gives the monologue of what exactly he was going to do. And rather than just kill someone, they spend 5 minutes telling you what they were going to do.
But Pepper was already at the office by then.
What,
No,
doing paperwork?
she goes to the office afterwards, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she
Because
does.
Tony sends her to go to the office.
Oh, right.
And that was quite a tense scene.
That was very tense. She kept her cool. Bloody hell, I would have been shitting my pants if that was me.
On the plane again.
Yeah, wherever.
That's why she carries a bag with her
Yeah.
everywhere.
You have to, don't you?
If Big Bad
Don't
was
look in
coming
Nish's
and-
handbag.
Oh, I like chocolate mousse. Yeah, I need chocolate.
But I mean, she was under some serious pressure when that situation was happening. So, like, any other booker would have been, like, absolutely crapping themselves.
Oh, well, I'd have just admitted it. I'd have gone, it's me. I'm sorry. I'm stealing stuff. Don't hurt me.
But it went to the strength of her character, that scene, particularly that she held her cool and, you know, she got
Basically,
out of
she's
there.
not a shit house like us three.
Hey, speak for yourself. I totally would have.
Shat. I imagine she's been in situations many times before. I mean, we're talking about Stark Industries, and he's up against Justin Hammer and AIM and other massive organisations that are doing the same type of tech. So I don't think.
But I mean, this was from the inside, so it's a different level, isn't it?
Yeah, there's kind of the espionage that's a bit weird because it's your own company.
Yeah, and you
Trust
your people that you work with, so I think it's a bit more scary.
So it's just a tense scene, isn't it? I think that's the thing. Where
I mean, my palms were sweaty watching
were you
that.
holding your neck again?
No,
You must have been just sweating.
I was sweating through that part.
Right.
So we've established when you stress, you sweat.
And then when there's something gruesome, I hold my neck because I
And
get
just whilst
pain.
you're shitting the entire time like a shitting dog.
Yeah, if there is a situation that requires it.
You're a treat to take to the cinema.
It was a great film.
I'd put you in the disabled toilet. Just leave you there.
So he steals a tech, doesn't he? And we have this big fight scene, which becomes a Marvel thing with the big third act.
But
Well, this goes back. Just sorry to cut across you. This goes back to what I said about Tony Stark creating the villains. He finds the tech in the desert, so he's not actually stealing anything at this point. All he does is he basically uses Stark Industry staff to reverse engineer, because he says to Tony about the arc reactor. So obviously the arc reactor is a miniature version of what they use to power their building, which is almost like cold fusion. Which is just unlimited power, which would basically change the planet's sort of make it eco-friendly, because it's basically green energy, cold fusion, because it's using water, basically hydrogen. So he's harnessed this power, which is essentially green energy. Obadiah wants that technology. Tony Stark ain't going to give it to him because it's here, so he wants this, and he's basically using Stark Industries staff to reverse engineer the arc reactor to use in the suit that he's trying to put together. You might have seen that in Iron Man 1.
I would just like to point out that Mark said that it can be tracked that all the baddies have been created by Tony Stark. But how does that work for Captain America and Captain Marvel? Because Red Skull wasn't created by Tony Stark, and neither was Jude Law's character.
John Rogg.
Yeah.
Well, he basically made the Captain America's shield, didn't he?
That didn't create Red Skull, though.
Well, okay, he created time travel.
But we don't know that yet.
Okay, well, why asking me a question that doesn't exist? I'm afraid I can't answer it on this realm.
Okay, can I say something?
No.
If I can remember what I was going to say.
So, like, while you're thinking, let me get me notes of why Tony Stark created all of them, but this is going to be like another hour. So.
Well, maybe that's a show to do at the end.
Look, I think it was a nice thing that Obi turned out to be the baddie, because I didn't see that coming.
Did you not?
No, I didn't.
Did you? Thinking back to when
he had
you
a
first watched it.
skinhead, a cigar, and
Yeah, but
he
it
was in
wasn't-
charge of a multi-mega billion
Okay.
pound organisation that sold weapons to everyone. I probably would have thought he was a bad guy even if he was a good guy.
I think I'm used to. But we've had Red Skull bad guy,
Bald.
and then we've had.
I can see where he's going.
Then we've had Ronin blue bad guy.
Bald.
Then we've had Yonrog yellow-eyed bad guy.
Balding.
And then
He's got big fathers, old dude. It's not as fulfilled as he used to be, is
I
it?
like some of his hair.
And then we have this non-alien who turned out to be the bad, and I didn't think he was going to actually
Bald.
be. All right, maybe no, wait. The way that he was described, the way that he was revealed as the bad was very surprising.
I've got this winning lottery ticket in my pocket. Would you like to buy it for £5?
I didn't see it.
He'll leave that in. Because that explanation has just blown my mind. I think I've just shat. Do you actually know what you just said?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do.
I think you're trying to equate
It's been a long
every
day.
village.
It's been a long
Now,
time.
you mentioned it. I've just remembered, actually, we're jumping all over the show now because largely my notes are all finished.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. The one thing that I wanted to mention, which you point out, was the Iron Man suit and the way it gets put on Tony as you get further down the movie. So it starts off with as he's walking along the thing, or when he's standing. No, when he's standing, and it's like drilling all the bits in and what have you. You were quite excited by that.
Yeah, I like the way that it all came together.
Literally.
Yeah. And I was impressed with the silver suit more than I was impressed with
The Mark II.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, if you think about them as car design, he's refining the design like any architect or creative designer. Like, for example, yourself, you're an interior designer, aren't you?
I am.
So you might do your
Shameless plug for Ancora Interiors there.
It is what I didn't say
I will
the
take
name.
that, thank you.
Happy to give it to you. You would do a CAD drawing or you do a design, and then you go, I can probably put that toilet seat there. Maybe you shouldn't have a window in front of all the people passing by on the toilet. That's one of the good things about all of these films as you go through them, is you will see an evolution. And because he's a genius, he's constantly reworking things.
I just like the fact that it was silver, and wouldn't it have been? Would it be like so different if it was just a silver suit instead of a gold and red one? As it is iconic now, isn't it?
I mean, those are the colours of the Iron Man suit, aren't they? They've just remained true to the
Comic.
the comic, really. But I think it is quite good that you constantly see this evolving suit. In fact, Marvel do this throughout the films. It's not a spoiler to say that their outfits do continue to change and modernise and adapt and adjust as they go through. And that's quite nice because it maintains the continuity of the character's look, but whilst also it feels like it fits a bit more. And Iron Man's probably one of the more extreme developments, and you see it in this film alone, from the one we build in the cave right the way through to the one at the end where the robots are fixing it to him.
Yeah. And the other thing from a shallow point of view is merchandising.
Oh, okay.
So the studio, Iron Man's a good example of that, because what they
Plus,
do,
you don't want a drill going firing in a firing a screw in the wrong area.
Yeah, when you land, you go oof.
Oh, hello.
So it sounds like when he stands up. Oof. Iron Man. He's only Iron Man because he's got pins in his spinal column.
Oh.
Iron Man because he loves doing shirts. He's doing that. No, in here the Easter eggs are literally to the comics. And the same time is if you're going to be selling figurines or Lego sets, who tend to spoil all the movies because of their Lego releases, you're going to sell toys, aren't you? Which incidentally is why this film was made, because what our focus group they did, the kids loved it.
Right.
So there you go. But Iron Man is an example because obviously he has suits made for every eventuality. It's just an organic thing for him, and he's just tinkering around.
Right. Are we going on to the actual fight scene now then?
Yeah,
between
well,
the two machines?
I mean, my notes have ended ages ago, so I'm just flying free and.
He's been padding.
Yeah, I'm just wobbling all over. What would you like to talk about, Ish? Because this is your show.
The fight scene was really, really good between the two machines.
What people?
Machines?
It's not
Iron
robot
people.
It's not robot jocks.
What the hell is a robot?
Oh, it's a
jock?
1980s film. Sorry, that's not Pacific Rim. It's only your reference for your age group.
It's the image of you blurt.
We've had this
I'm
conversation
46.
before.
Yeah, I'm 40.
So you're not my age group then, are you? You're knobhead. You're the old generation. When I was a lad, we had robot jocks, which people will remember.
Listen, hold still, you little prick. From the film?
Yes. I don't remember that one, but
That
yes.
was in the fight. That was
That
in the
was-
actual fight scene. He said, hold still, you little prick, because he was trying to shoot at him.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
knocked his missile guidance system out, so he couldn't hit him.
He said little prick.
Yeah.
In the behave in the
He
film.
did. I wrote it down. It's one of the few things I wrote down. Hold still, you little prick.
He did.
Wow.
And I thought, Mark,
It's these tight trousers and it's very cold.
But it was good. The fight scene was exciting. The way that it involved all the different characters was exciting. How Pepper was reacting, the fact that she played a somewhat pivotal part in, helping Tony out on that. Coulson,
but I think you've hit on a point there, which you bang on about, and I generally switch off because he has a soapbox he occasionally climbs on, and I just get bored of listening to it. It's not that it isn't right,
sacrilege.
And it's difficult me saying this because I'm a man, so I don't feel like I'm appropriately qualified to pass this sort of a statement. But one of the bigger criticisms of Marvel sort of in these first few phases was the fact that there wasn't a strong female character-led movie, and I understand people's arguments for that. For example, I would have liked to have seen a Black Widow movie. You don't know who Black Widow is yet, but way earlier than it was. However, we've watched 3 films here, and there have been 3 very strong female characters.
Massively.
Captain Marvel was a lead, but all right, that was 12 years after this Iron Man film, so you kind of have to perhaps discard that because arguably they'd learnt the lesson in inverted commas. But Captain America, you had Agent Carter, who was a fabulous and very strong character, and in this you've got Pepper Potts. Now, they could have been in the film more, but in each of these films there's quite a lot of characters already in there, and I didn't know whether that's something you've picked up on or whether I'm just talking crap, because you are indeed a woman as far as I'm aware, so you are far better qualified for me to comment, for you to comment on whether or not they are strong women characters
They
as
are.
opposed to me mansplaining shit away.
Shall I take it over then?
Please do, because
Okay.
I've dug myself a hole and I'm hurting myself trying to get out.
I'll take you back out.
Thank you.
Right, so obviously Captain Carter, from my perspective, was a periphery character in the Captain America, as you will know if you've listened
That's
to the first
fair enough.
podcast. Just because of the buffness of the men, but again, superficial.
Moving on.
But she was, she was strong. Captain Marvel obviously leads, and there were some powerful characters in Captain Marvel, which we spoke about. With Monica Rambeau was a powerful character. Lawson was a powerful character. So yeah, I think that was fine. And then in this, 100% Pepper is a strong character, and I think she's in this movie enough, actually, for the movie. Any more, it would have been too much Pepper, but I
Never
just
have too much
love her.
pepper. I love pepper.
It's just a shame Gwyneth Paltrow couldn't give any less of a shit about comic books.
Oh my word.
When you see her on like the press junkets or when they interview her about anything and it comes down to the Marvel movies, she genuinely hasn't even got a Scooby-Doo about what's going in the film she was in.
She doesn't even
Never
remember
mind the
being in
Wild
one of them.
Universe.
No.
Seriously.
On one interview, she didn't even remember being in Iron Man 2.
She has no interest in the Marvel universe. She's got no appreciation for how an important role she plays in just that particular area.
See, I think for me, which is why I jump on the soapbox, because people naysay all the time, is I know the story arc from the comics for Pepper. So I already know how strong she is.
Gwyneth Paltrow didn't make this character.
No.
It could have been anybody. The character itself was a strong character.
Well, exactly, and that means then in that case, then it means that there are strong characters. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who's playing it; they
No.
are strong characters.
It could have been anybody playing that character.
And what you have to allow is that Marvel, with the sandbox that Mark refers to, is they dip into it, and it's a first film of this what we now know to be a multi-film universe. They don't want to spend time.
Is your neck hurting? Is that because of the goo? What have you got some goo in your pocket?
They don't want to spend loads of time of a movie going, oh, we're going to spend 65 minutes to talk about Pepper Potts. They want to bring all these characters in because they know what's going to happen because they planned it. So they know, well, we picked that up, and the fans will go, oh, there's how our story's progressing. And you see it over the course of the films. And then obviously you've got the other ones that also pick everyone's story up and they carry them along. So for me, it was already a strong character. So everyone's going, "There's no strong female leads."
No, there
watch
was.
the movies.
100%
Watch the movies. The one you're going to watch
next
after this will continue what we're talking here, and I know even into the film that you don't even count. There's strong female characters in that. So
no, there is.
Suck it up, naysayers.
Yeah, so far.
And if you don't like it, get in touch.
Yeah.
Mark Pollard.
Nice. I see what you did. That had done so to you. In fact, you beat me to the punch.
He just deletes it if it's not. What is it? More than 4 words is your cut off.
Yeah.
That's the title. Dear Mark, done.
I've got first-hand experience of that as well now. Him just deleting shit after I've sent him something.
I've got no chance. I have to get a separate email. I have to get my mum to email him. Don't delete it.
Anyway, digressing.
Yeah.
Stanley as Hef.
Oh, the cameo.
Yeah. It always makes me sad when I see Stanley now.
I'm just popping it in there because we always talk about where did we see Stanley. So.
Well, just love it.
Yeah.
I love it whenever he pops up. It just makes me a little bit
nice.
sad inside that he's no longer with us. God rest his soul.
No, it is nice. But it's one of them, innit?
Sorry, we just pushed
Shit
back.
happens, yeah, it's alright. You've just made me cry a little bit inside.
Yeah,
Right, back to the fight scene.
What other
You love this fight scene.
what other sad and miserable things can you point me towards just to make me feel even sadder?
I'm going to have to watch Titanic to cheer myself up.
So, okay, we're coming towards the end. So
Yeah. Well, the fight scene's at the end, I guess.
is, yeah.
You're technically right.
So, obviously, Iron Man wins.
Yes. Of course. Obs.
Obs.
It's interesting how he wins, though. I think this shows the thoroughness of Tony as a character with the extent to which he has, and to use my favourite phrase, kick the tyres of the technology he's using. He's properly tested it. He's thoroughly exposed it to the extremes, as you would do with any form of technology of this particular nature, certainly. Whereas Obi has just come in and gone, oh, that looks cool, I'll throw that on and have a go at it, and fundamentally fails because he hasn't been as thorough
In his research, yes.
And that's interesting because that's a thread and a style that Tony does throughout, isn't it? You see him in his workshop, and he's really trying things, and he's trying the hands first.
Yeah.
He doesn't just
Trial
wake
and
up
error.
one morning and there's a whole suit.
No.
He's building it bit by bit and testing it bit by bit, and then when it's all together and it's been tested, he tests it some more
Yeah.
and then a bit more besides.
It does add depth to his character as a result of those scenes.
It
you're
shows
right.
he's quite meticulous,
Yeah,
and he's
and
quite
I love
responsible with how he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not just, ooh, I've got a thing that makes me fly. Right, let's go and save the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the guy who invented the light bulb and the Wright brothers when they're trying to do early flight. You know, the guy who invented light bulb obviously failed like 99 times, and he said,
Go on. You. What was it? What's the film? Nicolas Cage one. That's what I remember it from. I know that's not where the saying comes from.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Treasure.
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Love that film. Have you seen National
I
Treasure?
have, yeah.
So I think I'm going to probably
Number 2 shit.
I'm probably going to ruin the quote, but I think he said he didn't see the failure. He just found 99 ways not to do it.
Yeah.
And so what Mark's talking about, which is absolutely spot on, it shows that Tony Stark doesn't just turn up and he's got people doing it. He's doing it himself meticulously.
Which I love, yeah.
Yeah, he's hands-on. He's got the repulsor things, and he's put, because obviously that's why he ends up going through all the roof, because he's got them too powered. So he powers them down, and he's tinkering around, and he's tweaking things, and that's just part of the development.
You'd love to be his builder, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean,
Imagine if you got that gig.
I know. Oh, my God. Game over.
Yeah, he'd be just constantly busy. He'd be on a retainer, wouldn't you?
Constantly repairing and redecorating.
Every day,
and
because
stuff.
every day he would do something, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did. I mean, some days he just walked in and deliberately started tearing it up to build his arc reactor.
That's
I
right,
know.
he did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, ideal customer. Not a very good neighbour, but ideal customer.
True. No, but I love that. I love the depth of his character, which is why I loved him so much. Again, it goes back to like how intellectual he was and how thorough he was and meticulous. I like thorough and meticulous people.
What have you got in your notes then? In your thorough, meticulous way?
Well, the ending is epic.
Well, the ending... the ending is... I'm going to actually refer to a different part of the ending, which I feel is epic. And it's probably not the bit that you think... At the press conference when he's been given
That is the epic
brief.
bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's before the other epic bit.
But it's more epic than I suspect you realise.
Are you speaking a foreign language?
Yeah, well, okay. Why do you think it's epic? In fact, I suppose we should tell Mark.
Because you just keep saying epic. And he's like, do you remember that epic bit? No, not that epic bit, because that's a bit epic. What fucking bit?
Well, when, because obviously he's been hiding the fact that he is Iron Man.
Very badly.
Well, he hasn't been hiding it, just
No,
no
'cause
one
he's
knew
literally
Iron Man
there.
existed.
Well,
They don't know who it is.
yeah, and then he was, well, no, they do, because there's a press junket and then he's like, I'm Iron Man.
No, at the end he does, but when
That's
he's
what I'm
flying around
saying.
blowing up tanks with a little
No,
fart and things.
obviously, but we're talking about the end
Just
now.
tell me the epic bit, will you, Ishtar?
Yeah, that he says he's Iron Man.
Is that it? Right, wow. Yeah, I didn't really find it as epic as you made it sound there.
Well, I suppose it is that you wouldn't necessarily have expected it.
No.
But that's actually a massive impact on the universe because Marvel made a very conscious decision that they weren't going to give people secret identities.
Well, that was ad-libbed. They didn't know he was going to do that.
Oh, right. But that's something that they do go on to do. So Captain America, everyone knows who Captain America is. It's not the Superman, he puts glasses on and no one recognises him. Or Batman with the cowl thing. DC, in their universe, are very much stuck to there are two different personalities for each superhero. There's the superhero, and then there's the
real life version.
the real life unknown identity or a person, or rather the other way around, I'm sure. Whereas Marvel, possibly off the back of that bit of improvisation, decided, no, we don't want the headache of, oh, he's got a pair of glasses on so no one recognises it's Tony Stark.
Fits into his character though because he's arrogant, isn't it?
He is, but they follow it through, don't they?
Yeah.
Captain America's not. Captain Marvel is known. None of these people have a secret identity.
Most don't, simply because I think they're grounded. Because obviously Thor that's who he is. When you get to Thor, it's that Incredible Hulk. I suppose later they know who he is simply because he causes a lot of damage. But there's a few Spider-Man. They don't know they don't know who he is.
Who?
What?
Spider who?
Spider-Man.
What?
Spider-Man.
What? Spider-Man.
There's a few who do have a secret identity, and the reason for that is because it's dangerous for them to be known. If they found out, it would cause problems. But a lot of them, it is kind of them, so they're not playing an alternate person. So, for example, Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange. You with me?
Yeah, but people don't know about him because he's not publicly going out going, hello people, I'm Doctor Strange.
No.
It's a bit like a secret agent in MI5 that they just don't tell anyone because they can't do the job if everyone knows who they are, but they're not maintaining a secret identity as such.
I think you've got the characters who have a dual character, and there's ones who kind of become that person and end up being that person like forever, who've been taken from obscurity and become the character, if that makes sense. Anyway,
now
we could spend time on that, but we don't need to.
Post-credit spoiler. This is the first post-credit spoiler we can actually very openly talk about because this is technically the first one anyway.
Huh?
Well, Iron Man came out first, so this post-credit spoiler doesn't spoil anything that you either haven't already seen or will be seen in the future.
No,
it is what it is.
Yeah, well, it linked back to Captain America and Captain Marvel, this one.
Yeah, I did.
Beautifully, because...
Explain.
So, I'm quite excited that we can actually talk
Do
about
it.
the
Yeah,
first
absolutely.
I mean, Nick Fury, I did miss him during this film.
He's got less hair and one eye in this one, though,
I
hasn't
know, but
No.
my God, I was literally dancing around the room with excitement when he was like...
Holding your throat.
No, because this wasn't gory at all.
Sweating.
I did have sweaty palms because I was excited. Seriously.
Well, popcorn
and he was
must
like,
be dripping.
yeah, no. You don't want to share with me next time.
That's why it was all salty. No, we know. Next time I'll get my own popcorn, thank you, out the box. Literally, do you want some popcorn? Why is it all salty, Ishtar?
That was my fault.
But it was brilliant that like you saw that coming together and that he was then being invited into the Avenger like team. I mean, oh my God, I'm still buzzing about it now. That was probably the best post-credit spoiler I've seen so far. Yeah, because I didn't watch the first one from Captain America. I did watch Captain Marvel's post-credit spoilers and then this one.
So, when I watched this post-credit spoiler the first time, it didn't mean a huge amount because I didn't know who the bloody hell the Avengers were. I got absolutely no idea of what the Avengers Initiative was in any way, shape or form. To me, it just suggested that this was the first of more films. Having watched Captain America and Captain Marvel, it does lend a lot more weight because you have a bit of an understanding that there's been a long-term plan that's now sort of been brought to fruition.
Yeah.
I suppose in your case, because we're still only at Iron Man 1, there's still a lot you don't understand and appreciate that is quite exciting for where this now starts to go. So it was an interesting one with this because I interpreted this post-credit spoiler different to when I first saw it because of the order in which we're watching the films, not by virtue of me knowing what's gone on in the future.
Yeah, I love that we're watching it chronologically and it's all starting to make a lot of sense. That makes it very exciting. I literally get excited when things start to link together, honestly. I'm like a little kid in a candy store.
What did you think? Do you care?
On the rewatch?
About this epic spoiler?
Yeah.
Post-credit.
I wouldn't say it was epic.
I know, but I was just using the word epic because you like
everyone
it.
loves the epics, but I don't love it. You love it. Well,
like
for me,
it, yeah.
see, because I've got two reasons now, haven't I? So the first time I watched it, I was excited because I do know who the Avengers are and I know who Nick Fury is, and it isn't David Hasselhoff. I also like the fact that they've taken exactly the character from the Ultimate comics for Nick Fury, who was in fact designed based on Samuel L. Jackson. And now having it in a rewatch, having just had Captain Marvel where she suggests that he should change the name of the initiative that he's planning to do.
Right.
Boom. The Avengers Initiative.
Brill. Mega excited about that.
Okay. What do we want to do now? Because normally
Easter eggs.
Normally we go through Easter eggs. We should go through Easter eggs now, and then we will revisit our top 10 characters and our top 10 movies, and we'll give this a rating as well.
Can I just give you some kudos, Pollard, for the fact that your graphics are so brilliant and the clips? People need to get on social media and see what Pollard's been up to because it's just brilliant.
Nothing
Don't you
good.
agree, Latham?
They're lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Have you shared the secret sauce with him?
Secret sauce.
Because he's gone all social media.
Oh yeah, I am taking a bit of credit for his.
I've never
social
seen
media
so many
buzz.
videos pop up of my big fat face.
Of your big fat face.
Yeah, it just appears just out of nowhere. It's like, how did you take that? There's sunbathing in the garden. Next minute I'm holding Captain America's shield over me crotch.
So go on, give us some Easter eggs first, and then we'll crack on.
Right, so we've covered a couple of them. I've also got some additional information that people might or may not be interested in. Let's do the... So, 10 rings, we've mentioned. He loves that. I would say 10 rings.
How did I miss actually mentioning that?
Shit.
But nobody will know what that means, though.
No, but I just
Will
know...
do, because Shang-Chi's out as a review.
But people aren't going to watch Shang-Chi, the review, are they?
Well, it's an Easter egg, so what are you
Okay.
going to do? It's in the thing, so...
I suppose it's not a spoiler.
It's not, and it's also in the comics, so...
Okay.
Along with Justin Hammer, Ironmonger, Madam Mask, Norman Osborn, the Mandarin may be one of the villains who could appear in the Armor Wars series.
Wait, can we just go back to the 10 rings a little bit without going into too many potential spoilers?
Okay.
So, obviously, in this movie, the 10 rings are some Middle Eastern group.
He's just going to do that the whole time. Yeah, okay, let's get into context of the fact you've not seen any movies ever.
So
the 10 Rings is an organisation that was seen by Raza as controlling, and in the comics, the Mandarin controls the 10 Rings. So again, not a spoiler, it's factual in the core scripture.
Okay.
And the Easter eggs that we see, apart from the flag that was teased in the background, is... He's going to have another little cheeky giggle. Raza is fiddling with his ring. That is also a symbol of the Mandarin and the group.
No way.
We see the prototype Captain America shield that was planted, which was a scene between Pepper Potts and Iron Man, and I think he uses it to prop up his what's it called? What's he doing? His collider. What's it called? What's the thing he's making? Doesn't he use it? Am I jumping ahead to Iron Man?
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, he uses it to do his, what's the big circle
Arc
thing?
reactor thing.
Yeah.
So he gets his spirit level out, doesn't he? And then it's obviously off, so he just grabs this thing and just attempts... It's a prototype of Captain America's shield.
No way.
Did you not see that?
No, but I'm going to go back and rewatch it.
It's not the Marvel rewatch show.
Hey, it is Marvel rewatch. When your Easter eggs are this good.
The ringtone on Tony Stark's cell phone is the theme from the animated series. Roxxon, during the fight scene that you loved and you thought was epic, is seen in one of the buildings in the distance. Now, Roxxon in the comics is one of the villainous corporations. It's been seen across the whole MCU. It's been seen in Hulu's Marvel Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, and also Agent Carter. Again, seen in this. Again, I mentioned Ultimate Nick Fury, that Samuel Jackson was basically the likeness of him was used in the Ultimate comic of Nick Fury. One of the biggest ones, which is not a spoiler, War Machine's blueprints are seen in the closing credits of the film. And also,
do you want to explain who War Machine is? Because she's looking as confused as I suspect anyone else who's listening to the show who isn't Marvel aware.
Okay, so the Mark II armour, the shiny armour that you see, is kind of essentially taken by the government and retconned, or not retconned, it's refurbished.
Because Rhodey says, "I'll see you soon" in the film, doesn't he?
He says...
he even looks at it, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he pauses and says next time.
Yes.
Not for him, though, because he got sacked. But obviously, War Machine blueprints are shown along with other variants of the Mark I and Mark III Iron Man suits.
Interesting.
And that becomes War Machine, but also was for a while Iron Patriot. And James Rhodes essentially is given that by the government to use, I suppose, arguably as oversight.
Okay.
Again, continuing his character development with Tony Stark, but also when Tony Stark just fucks off because he's in a suit, there's not much Rhodey can do, is there? So they've got a suit for him. What else have we got? Oh, Fing Fang Foom is seen now. Bless you. So this is, if you haven't listened to our Shang-Chi, do it, mate. Do your...
Shang-Chi.
There you go. There's cultural misappropriation right there. If you want to tune in and listen to our latest show on that, Fing Fang Foom is a comic villain.
It turned into a chrysanthemum.
No, but if they're watching the Marvel Rewatch as I am, it's not recommended to listen to that podcast, is
Ignore
it?
Ishtar, and we're losing viewing figures here, mate. So you're costing us money. Ignore what Ishtar said. It's all about the stats. If you want to, it's up to you with free will. Fing Fang Foom is one of the biggest villains in the comics, and there's a banner over a building that shows the dragon. Fans will know it from Fantastic Four, which is a film that's been, all the rights have gone back to Marvel, so we may see that in Phase 5, and has maybe been updated for the latest film that's out now. So that's that. Did you know that Iron Man was in production hell? So in the 90s, they were planning on doing Iron Man, but they couldn't because Fox was optioning the character in... was optioned by Fox in the year 2000, and the New Line Pictures wanted it, and then nobody did it. So in basically 2005, it went back to Marvel because they didn't think that it would come across as a good character, someone flying around in a suit. So New Line Pictures passed on the idea.
What?
Yep. Go.
Yeah.
Also, the original villain for Iron Man 1 was the Mandarin.
Not to be mistaken with the orange.
Yeah, so the Mandarin, who's known in the comics as being a megalomaniac scientist who wields 10 powerful rings, which is made from alien technology. He was going to be introduced into Iron Man 1. And
I'm glad they didn't, because that would have been too magical and mystical far too early in this. You know, I don't think I'd have bought into that. It felt too silly.
Absolutely. Well, Jon Favreau got that excited that in a 2006 Comic-Con, he basically blurted out that it was going to be the villain, and then backpedaled later on saying it wasn't actually mentioned as a concrete thing. By the time they started filming, Obadiah Stane was the villain.
I like
it's an unfortunate surname.
I love that
name.
Well,
he's got a son
Obadiah's
called
great. I was gonna say.
He's got a what?
Oh yeah, man.
Just punched me out.
Did you say she's missed it?
I've missed it.
You say it, I've said it once.
Well, Obadiah Stane, he said he's got a son called shit.
They've reimagined Obadiah Stane because in
You can't say his name now.
He's just done the snort laugh.
But it's not like that. It's funny.
Like, he just takes all the oxygen out of the room. It's like cabin decompression. I'll be holding on to that pole. In the comics, Obadiah Stane tried to take over Stark Industries, but obviously in this film he's the father figure to Tony Stark. The other thing that's coming out is Ironheart, which is another Disney Plus show, which I think is going to be a complete woke fest. However, in the comics, and the comics only didn't do that well, they got cancelled after 12 episodes. That might be a complete shit stain. And then finally, which I don't know whether we can put this in, I'll leave you to decide, there is a Spider-Man Far From Home reference.
No.
Missed it anyway.
Fantastic. Well, there were some great Easter eggs.
Thank you, Latham.
If they make it to the final cut, though, to be fair, he's right what he's saying. It is difficult because you're trying to get a balance to what is in the comics and what you can actually talk about because you don't know.
Right. What I'm going to do is we're going to go around and we'll see where this fits into your top 10s, and you can give me your mark out of 10 for the film itself when you're doing that. So we'll start with you, Ish. Where does this film sit in your top 10? Now, on the basis we're on film 3, there's still plenty of... And I suppose, again, to reiterate, if this is the first show you're listening to, we're going to give each of us has got 10 places to pick our top 10 Marvel movies and our top 10 Marvel characters. And every time we watch a film, we're allowed to adjust that list to suit what we've just witnessed and enjoyed. So it's dead easy in terms of picking the film. The characters might start getting a bit more difficult as we sort of head now towards 10 characters or so. So let's start with you. And what did you think about this film? What are you going to give it out of 10? And where's it going to go on your list? Now, would you like me to read out what your list is at the minute?
Please.
So you've got number 1, Captain America, which you gave 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And number 2, you gave Captain Marvel, which you lynched with a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So where's Iron Man going in this list, and what's it getting out of 10, and why?
Okay, Iron Man, the best film we've seen so far, without a shadow of a doubt. I would give this 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, shit, that's quite high, isn't it? I don't know if I'm peaking too early, but... No.
So, there's loads of jokes I know.
I know your audience, I've just realised exactly. Okay. Why? Because it was just the most entertaining in terms of the characters. I bought into Tony Stark. I bought into Pepper. I like the big bad. I like the technology. I like the intellect about it. I like the fact that there weren't any aliens in it, to be honest, because it was more realistic. I liked it because Coulson. I liked the post-credit spoiler. I mean, this was just... I mean, a film that makes my palms sweaty and my neck hurt should, gets a good rating from me, period.
They are the shittest metrics ever.
They're not really.
So it's basically self-flagellation, isn't it?
It's emotion. It's when you get emotion for a film, that means it's a really good film. I was literally engrossed in it. I actually watched it twice.
My colostomy bag's not full by the end of it. It's not a good film.
So, yeah, 9 out of 10.
Wow.
First on the list.
Wow.
Bloody love it.
What about you, Latham?
Well, for me, I love Iron Man, and I'm looking at it with 2 different types of glasses on, apart from Tony Stark's glasses. I'm looking at it from the first watch, which is Love Iron Man. I thought it was a fantastic beginning to what we now know to be a multi-picture deal, and then it's the gift that keeps on giving. So every time something comes on, it refers back to Iron Man. Everything begins with Iron Man.
So what's your rating then?
9.
Oh my god, we seem to be rating at the same level. I mean, you're doing it for different reasons.
I mean, can I just stop you there, Ish? Actually,
leave this in.
All of his films have been a different score. So, Mark, you gave Captain America 7 out of 10, and you gave
8.
Captain Marvel 8 out of 10.
All right, yeah.
So, not only did he have them the other way around, he also gave them a different score.
Wait,
have you got mentalism going on? Because you literally say one word which means the opposite of what you say. I can't believe how in tune we are.
I thought we did Marvel at 7 each.
No. So Latham's top 10 at the moment is number 1 Iron Man 1, 9 out of 10. Number 2 Captain Marvel, 8 out of 10.
Right.
And Captain America First Avenger, 7 out of 10.
We're only 3 movies in.
So I know, but it was really close, wasn't it? 7, 8. It's very similar. My point being that, we were...
but not the same.
I'm obviously sort of aligned to where you are, which makes me feel really good, because it's not like I'm saying it's a 9 and you're saying it's like a 5. you're saying it's a 9 and I'm saying it's a 9, and then I'm saying it's a 7 and you're saying it's an 8. So actually,
You know, when you open your mouth, you know nothing you say makes any sense.
I need to lie down.
Well, COVID's kicking in. He's got COVID sitting next to you.
I need to lie down before next week's
Yeah,
episode.
just
It's
say
just
things
insane,
after you've
isn't
thought
it?
about them. Because they're not aligned at all. Literally,
They are a
mine
little
are...
bit.
No, they're not
Pollard,
at all.
aren't they a little bit
No.
aligned?
If they're aligned, they're the same.
Okay, let me just reiterate what I said before in case
Oh,
anyone missed
bollocks.
it. Ishtar, Iman, 9 out of 10, number 1. Mark, Iman, 9 out of 10. So that matches.
That's aligned. That's aligned.
Ishtar, number 2, Captain America, 7 out of 10. Mark, Captain Marvel, 8 out of 10.
Not aligned.
Number 3, Captain Marvel, 6 out. I suppose you've given the same 2 scores for Captain America and Iron Man, but your Captain Marvel, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. What you're doing is
That's
averaging.
what I meant.
Right, okay.
And I don't have
We've got
the
there
visual
in the
front.
end, eh?
Oh my god! Send us a copy of that. It might save an argument next week.
Right,
So,
never ever accuse my scoring as being mental.
Similar
because
to mine.
Would anyone like to ask me what
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think?
Pollard.
Sorry.
what's yours?
You finished having
So
your
we haven't got time now.
tete
Tune in to us
tete.
next time because we ran out of time with your scoring.
Pollard, what's your scoring?
I don't know if I want to tell you.
It might have gone 10.
I'm giving this 9 out of 10.
Oh wow!
Oh, we're like aligned, aren't we?
Oh my
We
god!
are. Yeah, high 5.
Sweaty palms, but that's okay.
Don't know. Oh, salted sweet corn. Sweet corn.
Okay, whatever floats
It's
your boat.
corn, isn't it? So it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I number 1. This was the first Marvel film, and I'm ignoring Hulk for the purposes of this conversation. This was the first Marvel film, and so this got me hook, line, and sinker into the whole concept. It has to get kudos for this. Number 2, it's a fabulously entertaining film from start to finish. It's just non-stop tension, comedy, action. It's just fantastic all the way through. I was really struggling because I kind of didn't want to give it more than Captain America because I love Captain America so much. But actually, in the cold light of day, it is better than the first Captain America movie, albeit marginally. And I didn't want perhaps my prejudices of Captain America as a character throughout the universe to perhaps cast a little bit of a prejudice on where I rank this film. This film is definitely one of the strongest ones of the MCU without any shadow of a doubt, and it was a banger way to start off a whole new universe. It got me involved, so it has to get the best score out of the 3.
Wow.
So at the moment, mine is Iron Man 1, 9 out of 10, Captain America, 8 out of 10, and number 3, Captain Marvel, 7 out of 10. Right. Favourite characters. Now, I do feel like I'm going to have to start sending you the list because this is going to get awfully
It's getting
complicated.
really complicated already. I think Latham should go first because I always like to know what your thoughts are on the characters.
Well, would you like me to send you the current?
Get easy, Iron Man's top. So let's start off with that.
Well, let me send you your list.
Is it? Have
for
you
now.
WhatsApping it? Okay, so you ready?
Yeah. I literally wait 2 weeks for this moment.
So we're going to have to, without a shadow of a doubt,
I'm going to send the list at the end of this show. I think I'll send you the list,
That would help.
and then you can
we can
plan
have
it,
time
'cause
to think about it.
It didn't occur to me. Right, so let me get to right. So Latham, let me read out your list at the moment. So number anyway, I'll finish that because we'll get a lawsuit. So your favourite characters: number 1, Talos from Captain Marvel. Number 2, Red Skull. You're going very baddie, front loading. Number 3, Bucky Barnes. Number 4, Captain America. 5, Peggy Carter. Agent Peggy Carter. Number 6, Ronan the Accuser. Number 7, a name Armin Zola. I wasn't going to attempt that. And then number 8, Nick Fury.
A lot of baddies on there, aren't there? I love a baddie. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you do.
we're gonna move up this thing to Iron Man is number 1.
Yep.
So we can move them down, make it easier for now.
Okay.
Because I'm going to keep Nick Fury at whatever it is, which will probably move down to number 9.
Yep.
We're going to throw in Happy Hogan at 10.
Oh, I forgot about Happy.
He wasn't really in the film that much. How are you? All right, we're not.
Because I obviously, as you're well aware from last
God,
season's episode, tactically choose my
Well,
characters.
you see, this causes you a problem because you can't now add anyone else to your list.
No, but I can delete ones now, can't I?
Well, I suppose you can, yeah.
Which I've purposely moved them down to allow them to fall off the list organically.
Well, they're not, because you've just put Happy Hogan in at 10, so he'll fall off organically.
That's great. That's exactly what I want.
Okay.
Right, but then does that mean Fury's going to fall off the list? Can you not move Fury up the list?
My list, love, just shut up.
Yeah, you can move them around anywhere.
Okay.
I might move him to number 11 because obviously that's a good score, isn't it? So, we've got Iron Man's number 1. We've got Happy Hogan at number 10.
Yeah.
And number 9, we'll throw in Pepper Potts.
Is that above or below Fury?
I'm going to put it above, actually, yeah. And what I might do...
Wow, that's really low.
For now it is. Don't you worry, love. Don't you worry. It'll make sense. I'm going to remove Armin Zola.
This is going to get all but we need to give him a 24 hours to shuffle this.
I need 48.
Well, actually, to be fair, if you want me to do that, I can certainly do that. I'll make it easier for you. I'm also editing. I remove Armin Zola and throw in Ironmonger. And I'm going Ironmonger because that's the character that I like.
That's Obadiah in his suit.
But
it's a shitty stain.
Latham, you don't like Obadiah more... You like Red Skull still more than Obadiah?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, think what he can do. Obadiah's just a man in a suit. What can Red Skull do? Massive.
But Red Skull's dead.
As I said,
don't start this conversation
tactical voting.
Continue.
Yeah, so that's it for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Splendid.
Some jiggity pokery, but yes, some tactical manoeuvring after dark.
Now, Ish, do you want to go next?
No, you go.
Okay, so I've gone in quite hard and heavy with this one. I've gone in with, well, I've considered 5 characters in my list, but actually, because that now takes me up to 14, there's people who are going to lose out. So I've got Captain America number 1, new entry, number 2, Iron Man.
Number 2?
Yeah. Because I prefer Cap. I'm Team Cap. Number 3, Coulson. Gotta love a bit of Coulson.
Defo.
Number 4, Pepper Potts. So 2, 3 and 4 are all associated with this film largely. I haven't put Coulson in before now because I think this is the first time we get to see sort of the funny, cute, cool little Coulson knocking about. 5's Nick Fury. 6 is Talos from Captain Marvel. 7's Peggy Carter. 8's Red Skull. 9's Bucky Barnes. Number 10 is Jarvis. Because I like Jarvis. I would love to have a Jarvis in my life. I know we've got Siri, but Siri's a pain in the ass and never does anything and interrupts you while you're recording because you mention the word Siri and he goes, hello, how can I help you? And you go, fuck off. Which means that in number 11 I've put the hand machine from Iron Man. Because I love hand machine.
In number 11?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I can only have 10, so he misses out. Flurkin, who was in my top 10, he's dropped out.
Oh.
Captain Marvel is below Flurkin. She drops out. She's now 13th.
Rightly so.
And Rhodey's 14th because I like the character, but I obviously don't like the guy who's playing him right this second. Yeah. So that may well be revisited in future times. Who knows? Although I'm already very quickly realising 10's not an awful lot of places.
It's not, is it?
I'm already getting stressed out.
I know.
Well, but what 3 movies in of 25?
I know. So.
Shit. Okay.
So just to recap, for the benefit of the listeners, your current top 6, you've only got 6 characters at the minute. You got number 1, Bucky Barnes, because he's got big muscles that you want to rub. Number 2 is Talos, because he's got a big baldy head you want to rub. Number 3, Red Skull, see Talos description. 4, Captain America.
You hater.
Number 5, Nick Fury. And number 6, the big pussy in Captain Marvel.
Would you want to rub?
I can't even when you say that. Right. Iron Man number 1.
Ooh. Above Bucky?
Yeah.
Why?
Sorry, Bucky. His character had more depth and in an attempt to be less superficial. I'm trying to make amends somehow. 2, Bucky, no. So 2, Coulson.
So you're putting Coulson above Bucky?
Yeah.
Wow, Bucky's... Wow. I think Bucky must have farted in bed.
Then put your covers over your head.
Oh, lad. Have you rung him to tell him or did you text him?
No, I'm going to put him on Instagram. I've been tagging him in everything.
Did you dump him via TikTok?
So you've been spamming the shit out of him on social media now, you just
basically,
ditched him from first to third.
Every opportunity I get to tag the character and the actor, I'm totally doing it.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, because it might make us famous. Anyway, so Coulson's 2, Bucky... So Pepper, 5.
Above or below Red Skull?
Above Red Skull. And that's it. Oh, wait. And Big Bad, I'm going to put him in 6 above Red Skull.
So Obi.
Obi's in 6. I liked his character.
So you're putting Obadiah Stane above Captain America?
Yeah.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Well,
Who invited her?
But this is my favourite film. Yeah, Mark.
Can I retract my invitation? Captain America down at number 454.
Look, this is the best film I've seen so far, so pretty much every character in this film is going to be like the top.
What, including the cleaner?
No. Obi Stane, yeah.
Obi Stane. That's what I call him. Me old mate Obi.
So, yeah, now it's Iron Man, Coulson, Bucky, Talos, Pepper, Obi, Red Skull, Captain America, Nick Fury and the Flerken. I'm happy with that.
Okay, so that brings us then to this episode. What's the next show we're going to be watching?
Iron Man 2.
I don't think those lists are going to change that much then.
Which should make next week's episode really quick.
Well, he'd be like that.
I'll just recycle the notes and views for this one.
Yeah, just cut and paste to a Michael Bay.
But is it like a good storyline?
Well, we're not telling you. You're going to have to watch it.
Okay.
We're not giving you any insight.
What I'm saying is, because it's Iron Man 2, if you liked Iron Man 1, your top one probably may well be...
I'm assuming that there's a new Big Bad, though.
Yeah. Well, no, they just basically bring everyone back from the first one and go, well, you know that woman who never saw us before? She liked us, let's bring us back for Iron Man 2.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm all on the MCU train now.
Well, check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at The Two Marks, where you can see all our posts. You can see some of the stuff that with some of the cuts and the clips. We'll post our top 10s on there so you can all enjoy the wonders of our insights.
That's always a treat. I never know what's coming.
I love it.
As I've already said, Captain America and Captain Marvel are already out there for you to listen to.
Marvel
so go and
isn't
listen.
yet,
Well, it will be at the time of this coming out.
True.
And this one will be out 2 weeks after the Captain Marvel.
Yes.
So whatever date that is. Let us know what your thoughts are. Watch Iron Man 2, because Iron Man 2 we will be reviewing and releasing 2 weeks after this goes out. So if you do listen to this show and Iron Man 2, our review, isn't out yet, then by all means, throw us some questions, direct messages, send us an email, the2marks@thepodstation.co.uk, and we're happy to read out thoughts, opinions. If you want to tell us what your top 10 is up to this point, let us know.
Mark Pollard of the podcast.
And we'll go through. So guys, Ish,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
You excited for this next step in your adventure?
Yeah. How am I doing on the nerd level, guys?
You are she's better than me. I was at this stage.
Oh, Latham. Really? Am I not meeting your expectations? I am trying to study. Oh, okay. God
Wow.
damn, that was a dagger to the heart.
Well, not really. That's not disappointed then, am I?
Shrapnel
Well, no,
to the
you're
heart.
like my Marvel god, dude. Like,
Well, yeah, but like I say, he puts himself down. I want only 3 movies in.
I think you're doing marvellously well.
Oh, behave
thank you,
yourselves.
Pollard.
She is. She's nerded out more and done far more research at this point than I did. I just used you, and as we've established, I've just copyrighted everything.
Dining out. I can't wait. I'm a millionaire. I'm going to buy myself an Iron Man suit. To be fair, I haven't been serious. I have actually looked in getting an Iron Man suit. They are expensive.
I think everybody should wait out for the picture of you in your shirt today.
You never know when that's going to happen. I'll probably turn up to a Friday morning meeting and next minute it'll be on the Instas.
Oh yeah, true.
Right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes, tune in next time. Excelsior!
Get social at The Two Marks on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Also check them out on YouTube.